welcome to Proper Curious, the podcast for down-to-earth creatives. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Liana, and we're two sisters exploring the world through a curious lens in a quest to live more creatively.
So, if you feel like that's you, grab a brew and join us. Hello. Again. Hello and welcome to Proper Curious ×2. Welcome. Just to preface this, we are, for the first time, remote. We're trying the old Zoom. So, we don't know how this will work, but off the back of our comment on it's been 8 months, I think we were thoroughly depressed at ourselves and want to be more consistent because obviously nobody's going to wait 8 months between episodes.
No, and also it's just too exciting to have to wait that long.
It's too exciting. Yeah, so it turns out we're very disorganised with managing our time and weekends and actually meeting up. And I actually thought, will it make much difference? So I don't know. Let us know what you think. We will obviously have ones in reality.
In real life. Meetups.
In real life. But it just means that we can do more episodes, which is...
So that is a good point. If you are listening for the first time...
Yes.
To briefly explain what the hell Proper Curious is.
Proper Curious.
Go on, Rach.
So the aims of Proper Curious.
Aims. Oh, sounds very business-like. Aims and objectives, Proper Curious.
I know, but what did we think was like the aim of the podcast?
Because we were just like, we're weird. Let's make a podcast so we can talk about all this weird stuff together.
Yeah, in a down-to-earth manner. That's a key point.
Yeah. Basically, we're just a bit daft, aren't we? But we're also really interested in things.
We're really interested in things, and that curiosity is one of our main strengths. And I think it leads into improving creativity, which is, I was super interested in that because, I just think the more you indulge in your curiosity, the more creative you are. Because it sets you off on all these tangents. So
and also,
why not do it as a group project?
And also it just makes life way more interesting.
Yeah, but like...
Does it not?
If I wasn't making this podcast, I would listen to this podcast because I think we can all journey together. We're all going to like listen to stuff, think about things and do some artwork and then catch back. It's like a really free art course full of weirdos.
And also I think it's good to mention that we're not experts in absolutely anything that we talk about.
We're experts in curiosity.
So,
and potentially
how often it's our like totally.
We love making tote bag slogans. Anyway, so Proper Curious is down to earth creatives. What we meant by that was, what exactly what it means. Just we're not going to be up ourselves. We're not going to be gatekeepy. We're not going to be,
we will make mistakes.
We're not going to be snobby.
Like, I, re-listening back to the first 2 episodes, realised how daft I sound.
Yeah, but that's fine.
But
that's the point.
Yeah, that is the point. That is the point. I'm proper curious. And we just think...
We're just going to be ourselves and we want you to feel free to be yourself. And we're all welcome here because, do you know what I mean? We don't expect anyone to be shining beacons of anything because we're all just here to have a look around, eat stuff and die.
Eat stuff?
Oh God, sorry, that took a turn.
Oh gosh. So I think that briefly explains, does it briefly explain? That did not briefly explain what the podcast is about, does it?
No, it didn't, but it did explain why I'm on a diet. Right, anyway, after that, let's recap on what we did last time, which was runes. Runes.
Yeah, runes.
We've come up with a lot of tote bag ideas off the back of that, mainly a need for bead. Shake your runes.
Spake.
Yeah, so last time we went to Bewcastle to see the Bewcastle Cross and Ruthwell Cross because we wanted to look at the runes on them. Yes. We chose runes because, well, whatever. Listen to the episode if you want to. How did it impact you creatively, Rach?
I'm planning to make more what's it called? Wood burning carving things. And also, I've got a box
Pyrography.
here. Pyrography. And it says potential runes. And what I've been doing is collecting really good flat stones that are around.
I've got loads of those too.
I'd say
Oh,
flat
ASMR,
stones.
ASMR, ASMR, ASMR.
And they're from special beaches to me. And oh, that's not a good enough one. Oh, that's actually a fossil that's got lost.
Rach.
I'm going to carve runes into them.
That's nice.
And then I'll have my own rune set.
Do you know, I had the same thought, but I was like, I don't own anything to actually carve into them. Hang on.
Well, you need to get...
Can you
a
use
Dremel.
your wood burner on stones?
No, I use a Dremel.
A Dremel?
Dremel.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Dremel engraving set with... Remember
So
to get safety
lots
goggles
of-
if you do that. Oh.
Lots of ideas
Yeah, what did you
there.
do? What did you do after you...
I did actually do something this time. So I really liked the Ruthwell Cross, which was the second one we went to, which was really tall, and the top of the cross was still on it, whereas the Bewcastle Cross didn't have the top of it. And I just like, I think a lot of our conversations centered around the drawings on those. Dylan had a lot to say about those. It was the triangle part.
If you've not listened before, Dylan is Liana's son.
Yeah, with the images around and the archer at the bottom shooting up to this potentially Viking ship type thing and a big sea creature, and then like someone with some ravens at the top. And I called it, so I drew that with my like just ink pen and found it a bit tricky actually, but I like it in the end. I called it Forces of Chaos because I really liked the idea of, well, literally like Vikings and Anglo-Saxons and the chaos surrounding that and the like invasions and stuff, but also just the clash of different cultures and worldviews and languages, and the fact that, you know, you mentioned it was just like a real turning point in history, I think. Like the last, and I really liked all of that, and I thought that that part of the cross represented all of those different elements coming together around this.
Like a movement from the mythos of the past to the
Just like a total shift into like
scripted
ideas
religion.
that, well, Christianity really, isn't it? That's lasted thousands of years. Well, 2,000 years. But
And we saw Yuga, Jesus is death.
I don't know, I just thought it was really interesting just to change away from a totally different worldview. So it was a really significant time in our history, and I really was drawn to that.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful drawing. And
Oh, I've got a
yeah, I'm just really
Henry.
glad it made you draw something.
Well, I mean, I've
So
been
we'll
drawing.
pop it on the website. We'd have a resources section on the website, and it'll be under
Photos, artworks.
photos and artworks from episode 2, Runes. But Witches Marks is the episode for this episode.
The topic for
Is
this
the
episode.
topic for this episode? Witches Marks or how do you pronounce it? Apotropaic.
Apotropaic?
Yeah,
Apotropaic
marks.
Marks.
And what does
Well, why did we choose witches' marks?
why did we choose Witches Marks?
Well, I'm really interested in witches' marks because when we were living in West Yorkshire, I have a few books by John Billingsley, and he wrote one called Hidden Charms, which was all about like these like protective marks that you find on buildings, and he'd listed like quite a lot of them around the locale. And then he'd also written about like objects that are hidden in walls and things to protect their
like
families, witch bottles, or like shoes, or like
shoes.
bones sometimes, or
Yes.
things, and I just thought all of that symbolism and like, so I just was fascinated with witches' marks, and I just thought it'd be cool. It's quite a good one to do remotely as well because we can go and look at things.
See, there she is with the practical details. I think it was a nice flow, wasn't it, from like the mythology of runes then into witch marks, because it is a different type of mark that's more recent. We are making marks in history. And it's just interesting to see myths and legends carrying through in stone and wood and carved. And I think
And we'll come back to that point, actually. Can we come back
Always
to that point?
felt that that was magical.
We need to circle
Yeah,
back to that
so
because I've got a point to make around that, actually.
what are witches' marks? Is there any sort of definitions you've
So
come across?
they are protective symbols carved into buildings, quite often houses or churches, to
Mm,
protect the building and the people inside from evil spirits.
wow.
Yeah, basically. Or even sometimes to protect it from specific things like burning or thunder or,
Like weather, malevolent
yeah, just like
weather. But then didn't they
awful
believe that
luck.
like evil spirits controlled the weather or witches controlled the weather?
Oh,
I found a lot about that.
probably. Did you?
And what why is it called apotropaic?
So
What does that mean?
I did write that down. Apotropaic, which comes from the Greek apotropein, I think, which means to turn away. But I found few different interpretations of that.
Um,
Um, so different examples of witches' marks would be a hexafoil, which is like your circle
yeah,
with the things that look like petals in. That's very
yeah.
geometric. Um, Obviously done with some sort of
Like a daisy wheel is the other name, really, isn't
daisy
it?
wheel. Overlapping V's.
But back to the hexafoil one.
Mm.
Do you know that really symbolizes a whole genus, genre of of symbols, doesn't it? Because the overlapping and the looping, the more curves, overlaps, and loops you get, the better.
Oh,
Because obviously they were thinking that
they
the
get
evil
trapped.
spirit would be trapped, and so it
Yeah,
has to be endless.
which is sometimes why they also did mazes, didn't they? Or
Yeah,
like
the
concentric
labyrinth.
circles.
Do you know what I was going to say actually about that? In Lucca, which is a medieval walled city in Italy that I went to in the last couple of years, but there's a amazing church at the centre of Lucca, has like massive columns on the outside of it. It's from the 8th century, and there's a labyrinth on one of the columns it's massive,
Mm.
um, just outside the front door. That just made me think, I
Well,
wonder
I
if
bet it
that's
is.
what it was.
Well, because in my research, I did actually find that the hexafoil in particular is found all across Europe in loads of different places.
Yeah.
And these marks are found like across Europe, and other places too in the world. But that symbol of the circle with the with the kind of what looks like flower petals in the middle,
Hmm.
um, has actually been found on items that date back to the late Bronze Age as well.
What?
Yeah, in like
That's
Spain
so
and Norway,
interesting.
on like a bronze kettle or something that was from then, and the Iron Age as well. And I just thought,
God,
so
I wonder
that
if it's like
symbol has been
the
used.
root
So
of it.
goes back to what you were saying at the start, and I was like, we need to circle back about
I'm just,
like
I
the
wrote them.
change of mythology and then it morphing into something else. I just wonder whether that symbol's been
God, I bet we've
used
lost that as well.
consistently and then
Yeah,
it's been changed.
used.
It's been over time and generations. It's
Oh, I might
been
get that
just,
tattooed on me.
the meaning of
That's
it's just been
beautiful.
like adapted.
Can I tell you about this though?
Hmm.
Historic England in 2016 did an appeal to the public, and they got over 600 responses specifically about witch marks.
Yeah.
It was to be England, but it's actually they did get 100 responses from Scotland and Wales. So clearly people were a bit confused or enthusiastic. I don't know. And the most responses were from the east of England, which is interesting. But the
Yeah,
most
yeah, I
common
saw that.
mark of all of them was the hexafoil or
Hmm.
daisy
Hmm.
wheel. Um,
Yep. I
and most commonplace was over mantelpieces, which I just thought that's
ah
so interesting.
the witches coming down the chimney like
Well, I just
Santa.
think, is there something to do with fire in
That's
particularly as
true.
well? I read a really old poem that I actually can't find. Um, and it was about the idea of banishing things from the dark. So even if, because I was thinking it's funny that it's like things outside, the darkness, the liminal, the dusk is the time when things are active and things are about. And the idea of darkness as being evil, and just think how the population was lower. There
Hmm.
were no lights. Like it would have been really creepy. Imagine the shadows of
Yeah,
being
yeah.
lit by pure moonlight. No wonder people were seeing stuff. Um, and then there's even in this poem, it refers to leaving the door open of your property while you put your lanterns, candles on, to banish what was ever in that dark house and let it out when the light is on.
That's so interesting.
So I'm wondering slightly then if it's on the mantelpiece as well, because when you light that fire, things are banished by the light and could go either way. Do you know?
That's so interesting, isn't it?
Because that would link in with why, like, they're on the hearth marks on the lower floor in front of the grate.
Yeah.
In the chalk on the stone.
I also read somewhere that the hexafoil was really commonly found in like food preparation areas, kitchens, I would imagine. Yeah.
What with the fire?
I don't know. I tried to research a little bit more around that and I couldn't find much.
Evil crumpets.
Yeah, like banish the spirits from like food.
Yeah, sorry, I put it into the explanation of the types of marks. The double V is what you're at.
Oh, yeah. So the double V, which is called
Virgins of Virtue.
Marian marks, which Marian is just another way of referring to the Virgin Mary.
I thought the Marian marks were the ones that are like bow tie.
No. Oh, I don't know.
The
Maybe.
double V's is a separate one.
No, because
Virgins of Virtue.
No, there's the
Yeah,
overlapping
there's the double
V's,
V's.
but then there's
And
the
then-
one that's joined together that looks like a W that's just,
Oh no, there's the one that Marian symbol.
oh my God, I
I've
don't
got
know.
it as this.
No, well,
That's what it said online.
oh, did it? Oh, not where I read. Ugh,
Yeah,
different
meaning is
sources.
disputed. But it was like that bow tie symbol was thought to be like you've got the double V's and then you've flipped it and you've got two more. You're doubling it
Yeah,
up.
it's just like they really went for it, didn't they?
So that Virgin's Virtue refers to the Virgin Mary, obviously, and her harnessing the purity of her to ward off evil.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I've got the Osculus cross,
What does that one look like?
which is like, I'm just going to hold up my notebook to the screen here.
Oh, yeah, beautiful.
This, which is actually most commonly found in Eastern Europe, but there are some here, and it's obviously replicates. It's not only got the double V's in it, really, in the form of the Marian symbol on each quadrant around the square. If you have a look at it, it's like a square, but basically with a Marian mark on each side. So it, you know, it really is incorporating all the things, and it's endless and, you know, ideal. But the stars obviously thought to banish evil. And then the pentacle, or pentangle,
Yeah, pentagram I've got.
pentagram.
Do you know what I also read though? I watched a YouTube video. Oh, I can't remember what this guy's called. I'm gonna get his name up because it's bad if I don't reference it. Mark Robin, who did a talk on apotropaic traces on building, and I listened, and he was saying that a lot of the marks were made by people building things. So it was done during the process, also afterwards as well.
To like build it into the building.
Yeah, and then he was saying that like they also used a lot of the shapes, like because these marks were made in like medieval times, but also used all the way up until like the early 19th century as well.
Yeah.
He was saying that in like a lot of like Tudor buildings, you'll often find those shapes built into like the beams and on the pans on the outside. So he was saying that's one theory, like they didn't need to make it in that pattern, but they did so that it was like all over the place.
Interesting.
Keep the witches out. Keep the evil
That would
at bay.
explain quite a lot, wouldn't it? I'm going to have a look in churches now when I look at the mouldings and
Well,
things.
and also the other thing.
Yeah, I've got two other marks to say about here.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'll hold off on my thing. We'll talk about that later. You say your marks. Sorry, I'm just
It's
putting
like
my
fingers
fingers on lips.
Fingers on lips. I'm going to hold it in.
Go on.
It was just about there's one called the Saltaire, the crisscross lines. It's like 4 crisscross lines one way and then the other to make an X, but out of loads of lines. Obviously, that makes like a 9 squares in the centre where they're all crossed. And that intersection is thought to be, you know, the great power as a spiritual barrier. And then Solomon's Knot is the last one I've got. It's almost similar to some Buddhist symbol actually, which I was
Oh,
interested
I
in.
think I've seen this one, yeah. It's really
like
beautiful.
quite Celtic-y looking, really hard to draw because I tried.
Yeah.
And it's thought to confuse the spirits, and also it's linked to King Solomon, who is known for his wisdom as a master of spirits.
Can you just imagine them carving something like, this will really confuse those spirits?
Yeah, and I actually have got an example of an actual property in Scotland. Do you want to hear about it? It's only short.
Yeah, go on.
Of this being used. So in Anstruther, which is a little coastal town up past Fife on the east coast of Scotland, on 21 Shore Street
Yeah.
was this little old fisher's cottage,
Oh.
and very old. And Mr. Sheriff in 1983 started to do up the house.
Mr. Sheriff?
That was his name, yeah. It's the new sheriff in town. It's Mr. Sheriff. And he lives at 21 Shore Street. Well, he's probably dead now, but sorry if you're not. Yeah, so he started obviously doing the house up. Now, it's actually really weird in the living room. There's like two different fireplaces, like an old range, but it was odd. So there was initially just like he found the carvings across the fireplace beam.
Yeah.
Fairly standard. Interesting. But then at a turn in the stairs built into the wall, there was what we're calling, what you referred to earlier, the spiritual midden. Obviously, midden is a Scottish word, isn't it, for like a rubbish pile? But
I don't know. Interesting.
and a spiritual midden is like specifically placed like groups of items, such as old shoes or dolls. And these dolls are not just dolls; they're like made out of worn clothing. And they're tied, like if you imagine a ball of fabric with then a tie, and then
Just
the rest of the fabric
really
just hangs
creepy.
like a creepy ghost. And then like ripped up pages of psalms or prayer books or whatever, all grouped items together, built into the wall or a floor or whatever. So there was that at the turn of the stairs, which is weird. And then underneath where the flagstones were between, there's like the front door coming in from the street, and then a little bit of landing, and then the stairs went up from that. It was a really small house, but underneath that flagstone there between the door and the stairs was chicken and pig bones. And then under a cupboard in the floor in the kitchen was broken crockery and flattened tins.
Wow.
And these items were all believed to keep witches and their familiars out.
I read a good book
And
called
do you know
The
what?
Familiars.
On the subject of the chicken and pig bones, obviously the familiars were like subordinate demons in the form of like cats, dogs, toads, wolves, bees, bats, blackbirds, owls, spiders, flies, and chickens.
Chickens?
Yeah, so the chicken bones on the front door. Do you think they were like, if you come in here,
I'm going to kill
this'll
your chicken.
happen to you, your chickeny bones will be under here. And linking back to the last episode with that chicken and the cross, isn't it weird when the cock crows? Evil. It's a real. What is it with chickens and evil? It's because they're red eyes, I reckon.
Because they're related to T-Rexes.
We knew they were evil all along.
The tiny little
Chickeny legs. So yeah, how interesting is that?
It is interesting. I love it. It's so fascinating.
And we like looked at like witch bottles, didn't we?
I didn't
Peed
really.
in a bottle and then built them into the wall.
Right, I've just got one more point that I want to make about where they're found, if that's all right, before we talk about our separate bits. So when I was doing research about them, I came upon an article.
Came upon a midnight weary. Yes? What article did you happen upon?
It was in the News and Star as well, which I thought was really funny because that's
The News and Star.
a Cumbrian newspaper. Was
Cumbrian newspaper.
I know, and but it wasn't about Cumbria, so I was just like, what? It was about Creswell Crags caves.
Yes.
And
so
how
interesting.
Which is amazing because they found like Stone Age bones.
Yeah.
Prehistoric bones.
43,000 years ago.
And also cave art from there. But also, more recently, they kind of realised and discovered that there was hundreds of like protective symbols carved into the walls of the caves. And I just thought, what? That is so interesting. And what fascinated me about that was because I read Robert McFarlane's Underland
Yeah, I was just thinking about
book, and he talks about how the underworld and the belief
Yeah.
that, that's hell or it's evil or
The
whatever.
opening to the
Yeah,
underworld.
yeah. And I just thought, and that belief spans loads of different cultures around the
Yeah.
world as well. And I just thought that was
It's
amazing
the
and just
unknown, isn't
fascinating.
it?
Yeah, and dark
And the
places and,
dark, the dark. We're just
things coming
fucking
up.
scared of the dark, you
Yeah.
know?
So I just thought, oh, how interesting that someone's gone in there. Oh, and the other interesting thing about that was that it had been added to throughout time. Like it wasn't all just from one time period. So they'd gone
Yeah.
back in possibly years where there'd been like a poor crop or whatever, or plagues or whatever, and they'd gone back and carved more. Like, oh,
Yeah,
get rid
the
of the
other thing
evil
that I thought
spirits.
about when I saw about that was, do you know how there's loads of initials on the same stone? So the other potential is that people were trying to use the spirits to curse people.
Do you reckon?
Well, yeah, because we don't know what way round it was. Protective or out to get you.
Probably protective, right?
Probably we don't know, do we?
Or they were invoking. But we don't know. That's it. We don't know for sure. Anything's possible.
Invoking the spirits of
Some
the
little
underworld. There
cave
could have been a
dweller
load of
was like,
witches.
come
Oh,
on,
oh,
let's
oh.
curse them. Curse the lot of them.
Bill Withers. Yeah, so let's move on. So, what we've done is separately go on our travels, an adventure,
It's really
remote
interesting.
adventures, and I want to hear what you've been up to. So,
Me, shall I talk then?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so, well, obviously Dylan was very keen to be involved. And
so cute.
we had like a day together the other day, and I was like, right, let's go to the cathedral. So,
Yeah.
because what really struck me,
Do you know what's
I
funny
can't,
about this?
what,
Sorry to butt in because I will butt in
it's
also,
fine.
but
No, it's fine.
it is the day you went, we didn't actually communicate with each other, and I did my thing on the same day.
Because we were just super excited. Hadn't we just talked the day before, though?
Yeah, but why would we just do it on the same day without talking?
Because the witches.
We are drawn out of our houses to find the mark. I don't know. Sorry, Scotland. That was a bad accent.
So when I
Yeah,
was doing my
sorry.
research, because I was like, right, I'm going to go to somewhere that like
Old.
has evidence of them, and so I was like, thought, oh, I'll just look online to see like where I can go to that's got loads of them. And what it made me realise was, and this is where I stumbled across the historic England thing as well, that they're just not well documented at all. I found the evidence one online that has been documented in like Cumbria that I could
Yeah.
find anyway, that was like at Scarrow Hall in Brampton, which then led me down a wormhole because I was reading about Lizzie Beatty, the Brampton witch, which is like some folklore from there. And I was like, oh, and then I won't go into that. But I was like, oh, well, I don't, that's at Brampton. I was like, oh, surely there's some in Carlisle. And I just couldn't find anything. I looked on Historic England, I searched for places, and I was just like, there was nothing. So I was like, do you know what? This makes it even more exciting because I was like, we're going to find some. We're going to go and find some that haven't even been found before. So then I thought, well, what is the best building to choose? And I was like, well, Carlisle Cathedral, because, there's evidence of them all being in loads of buildings, churches, whatever else. And I just thought, yeah, we'll go to Carlisle Cathedral. So I researched what the marks were, what they were looking like, obviously, so we knew what to look for. I showed Dylan a picture, screenshotted it on my phone so that we could hold it. So we went into the cathedral, and it was really funny actually because
As a kid, if your mum was doing that,
so I was like,
excited.
Dylan, this is the symbols we're
We're
looking
on like
for.
an literal detective treasure hunt.
It literally was, and then we went in, and
It's like he watches loads of Scooby Doo, doesn't he?
yeah, it's like,
come on, guys, let's find the witch's marks.
let's find the
Let's
witches.
unmask her. She's in the vestry. Don't know what accent that was. But yeah.
So we went in, and I said, "Oh, Dylan, they could be on the stonework, they could be on the wood paneling. There's loads of wood paneling." So as soon as we went in, we were like, "Right, there's a part on the right that's like the back of the organ at the bottom is all wood paneling." and there was a table in front of it and various other things. It kind of wasn't really like a featured bit of the cathedral. It's not really somewhere where people look. But Dylan was like looking at it and he was like, "Mummy, there's one here." And I was like, "No, there isn't. I can't even see anything." And
What, so like near the door or what?
so no, not really near. Well, as you go in, but it was near the entrance to the choir stalls because you walk. I don't know how to describe it.
Oh.
I'm not going to describe it. Just I'll put a picture on and people can look at it. So Dylan was like, "Mum, someone here found one," and I was like, "No, he's not found one already." And I looked closer, and he had found.
And what one was it?
It was like hexafoil, but it didn't have 6 points. The petal bits in the middle it was 4, so it was a cross shape.
Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't actually technically a hexafoil. So
But they
he
have
found that
all-
one.
Like,
Well-
there's one with like 924, like loads.
Well, I know,
So,
but I did try and research like just 4 points, and the
Yeah.
thing that I came across.
that's maybe more of a Christianized cross one.
Well,
Mixed with that.
I did in my research find this guy that I watched on YouTube. What was he called? Mark something or other. Mark Robin was talking about cruciferi plants. Cruciferi,
Right.
which are like a group
Yeah.
of plants that all have flowers with 4 petals.
Yeah.
And in church architecture, that design is used all over the place. You'll probably notice it now that I've mentioned it. In like on the top of the buildings, in like the corners of pillars and things like that. And I did wonder whether it linked to that because it represents.
Well,
a
that
cross.
features heavily, that shape, in Neolithic rock art as well.
So I just thought it was
Very
interesting. So
interesting.
he found one of them, and it was only small. It wasn't a very big one, but it was there.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my goodness!" So then we went round the corner, and I knew there was loads of graffiti in the choir stalls. There's just loads, like it's really visible. And the lady, like the volunteer, came over to us, and they're very chatty in the cathedral, and she was like,
That's nice.
"Are you looking for graffiti?" I'm guessing that because we were literally on our hands and knees, literally on the floor at one point. Like,
Are you okay? I'm looking at the fossils in the flagstones.
we literally were like on the floor
There are.
with my in a dark corner, like with my torch phone on, like looking. And she was like, "Are you looking for
Torch phone.
graffiti?" And torch phone torch. And
Yep.
and then Dylan was like, "Actually, we're looking for witch marks." All right. I
I
was
bet
like,
she'll have loved that though.
and I was like, protect
I'll be like,
bulbs.
yes.
But then she
Acrylic
clearly-
marks, actually, please.
she wasn't interested. She just wanted to like show us the graffiti that she knew about something about. She ignored the witch marks
a
bit.
little bit.
So then I like humoured her and I listened to her talk. But she was pointing out there's quite a few, and this is really interesting. There's quite a few of the same symbol carved into the choir stalls, and they look like little banner flags with like 3 crosses on the top,
Yeah.
with initials in them. Some of them
Yeah.
look like they have the overlapping V's, but maybe it's a W. Who knows? And then there's dates underneath spanning between 1590 and 1597.
Yeah.
And they're not witch marks as such, but I thought they were interesting because 1597 was when there was a lot of deaths from the plague.
1597.
So some of the theories are that these were like guild marks, but then during this time where they were like mass burying all these plague victims and they didn't have time for proper funerals and stuff, that was their way of like remembering people or warding off the plague by including some of the symbols within those as well, with the witch marks within those. But there was all sorts of stuff, and like there's loads. Honestly, I'll put the photos on the website or whatever of what I found because there was just so many. And the other ones we found loads of like stonemason marks and merchant marks and things. Like, how do you tell the difference? But loads of those, most of them were, I think. And then on the pillar towards the I'm going to say front. I don't know, the front of the church. There was a pentagram carved onto a pillar. So there was a hexafoily type one.
And when was Carlisle Cathedral built? Don't know.
Because there was there was an early priory outside
Must
of
have
it
been 12 something.
in the
I bet,
1100s, and then that was ruins, and then they built the new cathedral. But
yeah.
it's before medieval times.
Yeah.
Or medieval times. It is like hundreds of years old.
Yeah.
But it's amazing, and the choir stalls are from medieval times.
Wow.
So
That's
yeah,
actually really interesting,
and
isn't it?
it's the biggest collection of those types of marks in any cathedral in England.
What was
So
happening in Carlisle that was so
yeah, they just love.
creepy?
So that's really the ones that I found. I also found a paw print in
Yeah.
the stonework in the ruins of the priory outside. So, an 1,000-year-old paw print in the brick. And
That's so weird though, isn't it?
I just was like, I don't understand how that's even happened. But it just was amazing. And I pointed out to some little girl as well who was like, what are you doing? So I was like, look at the paw print.
Look at this. The
and
mark of the witch's
so,
familiar.
So to wrap up, basically, what that led me to do then, because I'd found the Historic England
Yeah.
database call out for marks and stuff, I found Carlisle Cathedral on the list of sites, and I uploaded some images to their missing, what is it called?
Wow.
Missing Pieces project.
Oh, that's actually great.
Have you seen the Missing Pieces project?
No.
So you can basically
I'm going to write this down.
create an account, and then you can like take photos
Missing
of things.
pieces.
And
And
you
is it
upload
just for
them.
England or what?
I don't know, actually. Well, it's Historic England, so maybe.
Missing pieces. Oh, let me help with it. Missing pieces.
Missing Pieces
England.
project. But it's really cool. So I've uploaded my, because I thought, imagine if no one else has seen that the Carlisle Cathedral's got like those two marks. I haven't uploaded the pentagram yet, but I will do.
Yeah. My God, like cathedral detective.
Yeah, so I that was mine. But I also, in my research, found that the number of witches in Cumbria has increased. People registering themselves as witches on the consensus has increased in the last one.
On the census.
Yeah, on the census.
On the consensus.
On the census.
The consensus is I'm a witch.
No, on the census. I said census.
No, you said the consensus.
The consensus.
What? I might put my consensus as that. Right.
And also,
Oh, she's had a cough.
I've got lungs. Yeah. So that was it, really. Oh,
Yeah.
also one more thing. Sorry, I know I'm out of time. There is also a well in the cathedral that I never noticed before. There is a like.
Surely must have been a mark on the well because it's going to the
Well.
underworld.
Well,
Well,
it's kind of we couldn't really get to it because it's like in a cage. But I thought, oh, I really
Not the
want to rip up the floorboards and like get down there.
Oh my God. That wee woman wouldn't like it. Like, this well was built in 1442 when the monks thought this is a bit far to walk.
It's really deep.
Sorry, Carlisle Cathedral people.
So yeah, I couldn't find
Yeah.
marks there though on the well, but that would have been a good place leading to the
Well, I tell
underworld.
you a wee tale from my
Well,
adventures.
Yeah, do you want to tell me what you found?
Yeah, so have you got a Googling instrument that you can look up this picture?
Go on then. Yeah. On the phone.
So if you're listening to this on your phone, just Google now The Sorceress by Jan van der Velde. Jan van D-E V-E-L-D-E.
How are you spelling Jan? Like J-A-N.
Yeah. The Sorceress.
Oh, here we
by
go.
Jan van der Velde.
Oh.
This is an engraving from 1626. So let me set the scene for you if you can't immediately see this. But
She's got
this
boobs
is
on
a
it.
engraving, and we're met with a menagerie of creatures in the night, lit by a fire, with a young woman, sorceress, the witch, orchestrating spells, throwing something onto the flames, There's somebody looking very tortured in the midst of the menagerie. Behind her is a skull, and then various bottles of potions and spell books and all sorts. And interestingly enough, she is a young, fairly attractive woman. So we've got lots of imagery these days of witches being, sort of the Nanny McPhee-esque moles on the face is
Yeah,
awful.
interesting.
And she is not, but she is obviously got her breast out. And there's
It's
something that when I've been researching this,
really
there's a lot
interesting
of links
breast.
between like evil and naked women, which is
Mm,
obviously very
what's that
cultural. But
telling you?
it's telling you they're scary fucking
Sin.
bit. The wild
Sin.
women, wild free women, are
Yeah.
scary. So yeah, with that scene in our minds of the menagerie of cavorting animals, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you a poem. The Hag's Song from The Mask of Queens, written and first played, it was a play, in 1609. So we're in the high time of the witch trials here.
Mm.
And it's about 12 virtuous queens overcoming 12 witches, basically. And when it was first performed at Whitehall Palace in 1609, it was performed by actual like lords and ladies were the actors. So that's quite interesting bit of social history. But basically, it's a play about sort of chaos and order, and this never-ending quest to bring order to the chaos, which we've seen, and to
Mm.
that like fear of the weather or fear of like how everything is so uncontrolled and they didn't know why. And
Mm.
anyway, so what I'm trying to give you here is just a feeling of the times. So this is we've got that imagery from the engraving in our minds, and this is really the words. If you were looking at that picture now, I'll read this to you, the Hag's Song. And I'm going to read it in a Yorkshire accent because why not? I have been all day looking after a raven feeding upon a quarter, and soon as she turned a beak to the south, I snatched this morsel out of her mouth. I've been gathering wolves' hairs, the mad dog's foams, and adder's ears, and spurging of a dead man's eyes, and all since the evening star did rise. I last night lay all alone, o'er the ground to hear the mandrake groan, and plucked him up through though he grew full low, and as I had done, the cock did crow. And I had been choosing out this skull from charnel houses that were full, from private groats and public pits, and frightened a sexton out of his wits. Under a cradle I did creep, by day when the child was asleep. At night I sucked the breath and rose, and plucked the nodding nurse by the nose. I had a dagger. What did I with that? Killed an infant to have his fat. A piper it got at church ale. I bade him again blow wind in the tail. A murderer yonder was hung in chains. The sun and the wind had shrunk his veins. I bit off sinew, I clipped his hair. I bought off his rag and danced in the air. That scritched owl eggs and the feathers black, and the blood of the frog and the bone in his back. I've been getting and made of his skin a purset to keep Sir Cranion in. And I've been plucking plants among hemlock, henbane, adder's tongue, nightshade, moonwort, libbard's bane, and the twice by the dogs to be seen to taken. I from the jaws of a gardener's bitch did I snatch these bones and leap the ditch. Yet I went back to the house again and killed the black cat, and here is the brain. I went to the toad, breeds under the wall. I charmed him out, and he came at my call. I scratched out the eyes of the owl before I tore the bat's wing. What would you have done more? Yes, I have brought to help your vows horned poppy cypress browse, the fig tree wild that grows on tombs, and juice from the larch tree comes, and the basilisk's blood and the viper's skin. Now, our orgies, let's begin.
Whoa. That was
That was
great.
by Ben Jonson, who wrote The Mask of Queens,
And he wrote that
and
when?
1609.
That is brilliant. That is such a
Yeah.
good poem.
So it's in this book, The Puffin Book of Magic Verse, which is actually for children. So it's these poems were selected by Charles Causley, who I think's great, and he this book is just so amazing. It's about all charms and spells and magic folk and
Yeah, I
all
like that. I'll
sorts of
have to get a
things.
copy of that. Sounds great.
Yeah, so just the imagery there. So I wanted to get you into the mindset of the feeling of the people at the time. That sort of absolute paranoia of literally feeling that it is real. This feeling of all the creepiness is real, and that there is things unknown out there in the dark that you must ward off. We've talked about how the witch's marks played into that.
Yeah.
So I went on my own quest to find a witch's mark, and
Where did
I
it take
walked.
you?
Basically, it was what was it, like Wednesday night or something? Just
Yeah.
totally,
Can't
maybe
remember.
Friday. Was it Friday night? Flipping Friday night it was, because I was working the next day and I told him I'm at work. But yeah, I went out and about in Leith. I just in the evening. It was actually at dusk, so I thought, oh, yeah, this is the time. I walked through Leith Kirkyard. There was a few on the church, but not that many. Interestingly enough, some new ones in chalk that somebody had gone mad putting crosses everywhere near the doors and windows. So what a continuity, people are still paranoid.
Was it you? Did you do it?
No, but obviously we have recently found 385 plague pit bodies there when
Yeah,
they were building the
grim.
trams. And then I walked down to the docks where actually there was no witch marks that I could find, but had we have had the buildings, there probably would have been, because a lot of pirates were executed on Leith Sands as when it existed, and they're buried in the Kirkyard in Leith. I travelled up the water of Leith then and got to St Ninian's
Okay.
chapel site, which was built in the 1400s, and this building used to be manned by like two chaplains right next to the river where the oldest bridge was in Leith. And now there was the North Berwick witches trial in the 1500s, and King James VI of Scotland, who was later James I, in 1603 to 1625, he was the dude that got so paranoid about witches. And you know when you were saying about
Was he the one that
1597?
wrote the book on it? The
Yeah,
book on witches?
demonology.
Yeah.
Demonology. Now, he wrote that in 1597. So I'm thinking maybe that's what kicked off all the marks in
way.
Carlisle Cathedral, because that book took off like a storm, and this was the catalyst for the nationwide witch hunt. Because he was so paranoid, because he believed that in 1590, North Berwick witches had been responsible for an attempt upon his life, which was swiftly then followed by the gunpowder plot, which he blamed on Rome and Satan. And 7 years later wrote this book, Demonology. And
In 1597. That
yeah,
is
and in that
crazy.
book he said that evil spirits will come and pierce through whatsoever house or church. All ordinary passages be closed by whatsoever open the air may enter in at.
Right, okay.
So wherever the air enters,
Yeah, because
so
it's
obviously
blowing
they're
the evil into the house.
So thinking about this, and then I discovered that next to this St. Ninian site, there had been basically witches drowned there. I thought, surely in this building there must be some. Managed to find the old window surround, which has obviously been rebuilt. It was just all crooked all over the place. And basically, though I did find the double V's and a Marion sign. And what was so creepy was from that double V's, there was a crack up from that mark up towards the next window.
Isn't that
And I
weird?
was just like, is this like, it didn't quite work? And the evil worked its way up the wall and was looking for the next opening. You could find scratches on the window. So yeah, that was amazing. I just thought that was
What a
really,
read.
really
That's
interesting.
such a good adventure. I haven't. I wish I'd looked a little bit more about like evidence of witches in Carlisle. Actually, I'll go into
Yeah.
that.
And you know what? And then we got like, you've got references through it to things through time. Because what I was going to just round up on was, obviously you've got the thrice the blinded cat hath mewed by Shakespeare. You know, the witches song there.
Yeah.
Bubble, bubble, trial and trouble, all that. And then there's a really interesting painting in the National Gallery in Edinburgh of it's called The Spell by William Fettes Douglas, and it was painted in 1864. And that, have a little look at it if you want, but it's it's got carvings in the wall, and he's there with his dagger and a skull in a circle. He's trying to bring someone back to life, and out the window in the background is like a stone circle, and all this like magical belief that resurged in the Victorian times. And then just like the end painting that I found was it's called The Witch by Barry Windsor Smith in 1978, and it was really striking because along with that initial carving that we looked at, the sorceress one, this one is like in black and white as well, but it's like a hunched woman in some bramble bushes, and she's looking very like covertly out over her cloak. She just looks drawn, haggard, furtive, and she's crouched, but she's got like a bird body at the bottom with claws. Feet. And it really made me think of that Morning Woods and the Owlman and the clawed evil ascending from the trees around the churchyard.
Oh, that is creepy.
There's been loads of sightings through time. I just thought, isn't it interesting how that theme just goes on and on and on. We're just all obsessed by the idea. But yes, so that was just so interesting.
That is
I think
really interesting.
what I really enjoyed about this was like how I think this might spark me creatively is I just feel like what I loved about it was the bridging of like the local history, and like I would never have just thought to go around Leith. I would have been thinking, oh, I'll go to this really old churchyard on the train in like somewhere in Fife or something. But actually, it just made me look at my immediate surroundings in a totally different way and found out social history. Like, I think because I was looking up not just like the old buildings of Leith, like I was looking up a specific aspect of that, and it brought in so much different things I'd never known.
That's what I was thinking as well. Like, I learned stuff about like the Carlisle Cathedral with like the plague deaths, and I went on a weird like rabbit hole learning about like just people who had been persecuted and like hidden histories of Cumbria, like, and I ended up signing up to a newsletter as well that was written by someone, and I just thought I would never have found all of that if I hadn't been researching this. A lot of it wasn't relevant to witch marks, but you know, all of that history. And then also, I don't know if you found this, but when I was walking home from the cathedral, I just was like, me and Dylan was off talking about something else, but I was just like, couldn't stop looking at buildings, and I started seeing like marks everywhere, and I was like, there's some lines. Are they the bees?
So I was like as well. I was like, oh. I mean, I was quite creepily peering in people's windows at dusk, but yeah. Yeah, no, I realised when I was doing it, because I was so intent on finding one, that I was actually like staring in their houses.
I think that is an interesting one, isn't it? And I think creatively, what really interests me about this is, again, linking through that sort of like reusing of ideas through time and symbols being reused and repurposed for other things. You know how we were talking about in the runes and in all our episodes, just the changing of ideas and symbols and marks, and just amazing.
I just feel like steeped in it. I was just thinking, it just
It's
shows you,
everywhere.
doesn't it?
It is
It's everywhere.
everywhere.
And we just don't, the history, we're literally steeped in it, and we're steeped in these ideas and how that's fed into our perception now. Do you know, obviously we have modern day horror films, things that we're scared of now, things that we fear, and it's just a continuous line of things through time.
Yeah.
Oh, just made me feel very magical walking around. I was just like, what a load of history is in Leith. Like, I've crossed that river so many times, I've never known that there were, you know, common witches drowned in there.
Yeah.
And just like, I thought about going to put an offering in, actually. And there's a memorial stone up near Edinburgh Castle to the witches.
Yeah.
I was going to leave some flowers there or something. But also, what an absolute well of poetry that opens up for me.
Yeah. Well, I started writing something
I feel like
before.
that will be triggering.
I would
poems.
really love to write a song of this. That's why I started writing some lyrics before about mark making. So just that idea of mark making. You know, we
And
encourage children in
stone.
the early years to make marks, make marks, make marks, and then just. But then
Make it.
we've always been making marks throughout history, you know,
Yeah.
runes, and then, you know, symbols, and then all these things, and it's just, yeah, I just love that idea of just leaving an impression on something, and that is just full of so much meaning of or a message, or, you know, a spell or magic. Like those marks just hold so
Yeah.
much, don't they? And that really fascinates me. And I just also throughout this whole project, I've had like Kate Bush's Waking the Witch song playing in my head. And I was like, I really would love to write a song about mark making in the style of a bit of Kate Bushy. So I'm going to try and set myself
Yeah.
that challenge.
That'd be so
I've got
good.
like chanting. I want to do some chanting. I've already come up with
Yeah.
the like melody and the words and stuff. So just gonna just play around with that. She's coming.
Child.
No, that's a
Running
different
in the
song.
Sorry. She's got such a pace to her Kate Bush songs, eh?
So yeah,
Yeah.
shall we wrap it
Yeah,
up?
let's wrap up. So I think let's see where this takes us,
And
basically.
I think this is just another testament, isn't it? To just be like, be proper curious, because what a fascinating world we live in.
Yeah, when you start like I think we need to have a comment section somewhere, or like, you know, please let us know what you've been up to, because I would
What have you found?
love to see what people come up with
Look in
when
your
they're out and about
houses.
doing their
Yeah.
own adventures. And if any of you are in houses where these things are, then
I
take
might go and
pictures
look
and share.
under my stairs to see if there's anything marked in there.
Hashtag proper curious marks.
Yeah.
We would love to see that.
Yeah, so that has been really good, hasn't it?
Yeah, so thanks for hanging out with us. And
Yeah, thank you.
I hope this does make you feel proper curious and proper creative.
Stay proper curious.
Stay curious, guys. Wait, apparently I need to watch Anchorman and I haven't.
You do,
Okay.
you do. Okay.
Anyway.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.